eat. And so yeah, let's go. So what's going on? As you guys may hear in the background, we do. We have 5 Cane Corsos on hand right now, and I'm actually about to prep their meals. Our dogs, adult dogs, Tony Stark and Pepper Potts. We were done with breeding as our focus became Iron Dog Raw, which is our pet food company. But while we were in the midst of traveling on business trips and stuff, these guys decided to do their own thing. And so we got starving puppies in the back. And so what I'm doing right now is making a raw dog food video for pet parents out there, for breeders, whatever the case may be, who have puppies on hand, or even adult dogs, and the question raises up, hey, can I feed my dog raw dog food? And at what age can I start? Our puppies right now are 5 weeks old. I started introducing them to our product, again, raw dog, which is raw dog food, at the age of 3 weeks old. Puppies, at the age of 3 weeks old, once you start the weaning process, they can go ahead and start eating raw dog food. And so right now, what I'm actually gonna feed these guys, we have our Strength and Stamina blend, and we have our muscle blend. Now, both of these are beef products, but they both have different ingredients. Our Strength and Stamina blend and our muscle blend. You're both gonna get the beef muscle, you're gonna get bone, and you're gonna get your organs, which is heart, liver, kidney, and spleen. The only difference between the two is the muscle blend comes with green tripe, and our Strength and Stamina blend comes with wild caught pollock. We got 20% wild caught pollock in here, and we got 10% of green tripe in here, folks. They don't want to wait for the meal to come, and they ready to eat right now. And so who is this right here? This is the Hawk, and this is Drax. And so these guys are pretty smart and pretty big, and I wasn't expecting them to push themselves throughout the cage, but let me just bust around. Let me get the other two to come. Come on, let's go. I'm gonna get these guys back over here, get them situated so I can go ahead and make their food. At 5 weeks old, these guys are very determined, very smart, and so on and so forth. And this Crazy Steve right here. I'll post a video later as to why we call him Crazy Steve, but this dude is crazy. He look innocent, but no, he's real crazy. All right, guys, you guys about to eat. We're about to go ahead and whip up their food and stuff, folks. Wild caught pollock. Now, when it comes to dogs, no matter their age, you want to make sure that you cover in different nutrient gaps. Parents out there, they go out there and they, DIY the food themselves, and they be missing certain key ingredients that dogs need. One of those key ingredients is fish. Why do dogs need fish? For the omega-3s and omega-6s. It decreases allergies, coat health, skin health, brain health, nail health, teeth health. Then also, when we're looking at the muscle blend with the green tripe, that green tripe we're talking about, that's a probiotic, folks, right? That's good on the digestive system for the dogs. It's good bacteria in green tripe. And so that helps flushes out the bad bacteria, and it helps out with the dog's microbiome. And so we're gonna go ahead and start making this because these guys are whining in the back. Let me grab my knife. And so what I'm doing is we're gonna go ahead. So this is 4 pounds. These tubes right here are 2-pound tubes each. And so they trying to push that gate again. These guys are super determined. They on it. And so yeah, and they done got out. Pause it. All right, folks, now we back. We just got the puppy situated and just blocked off the gate where they kept pushing through. And so yeah, each tube is 2 pounds each. And so what I'm gonna do is actually mix this stuff up together, folks. That way I go ahead and prepare these guys' meal. And so what I have in here is pumpkin. And so I have about 3 tablespoons of pumpkin right here. And so I'm gonna go ahead and toss that in here. Now, pumpkin is a good source of fiber, folks. Good on the digestive system, and then it helps coat up the stew. Now, here's one thing that I want to say, folks. one of the main things that you'll see when feeding your dogs raw is smaller, less smellier poops. Smaller. And so typically when people and stuff, folks, have puppies, and you're feeding your young puppy, especially 3 weeks old, 4 weeks old, 5, 6, 7, whatever, and you're feeding them puppy mush, right? Typically these dogs have a ton of diarrhea, loose stool. And since having these pups right here on raw dog food, folks, their stools have been firm, very firm, very solid, easy to pick up, easy to manage and stuff, folks. And so we have not been dealing with any loose stools. What's the other thing that you'll see when dogs are eating raw? Since raw dog food, right, has a ton of moisture, right? A ton of, protein is what? It has water in it, right? So you will actually see your dogs drinking and consuming less water. Now, I have had pet parents in the past that were new to raw, and when they noticed that their dogs, somebody just got out. So yeah, we're gonna pause this one more time. Go ahead, pause it. We back, and so check this out. The little blockade we had up. These jokers over there, they working as a team. They was pushing one side and the other two were moving the other side, and they made room for one to get through. And they apparently thought he was gonna be able to free the rest, but he didn't. But yeah, and so you'll see your dogs, what I was saying before, and so that's not a red flag, folks. That's not a concern. That's actually a good thing. The number one thing that you see when you're feeding your dogs kibble is they consuming a ton of water right after eating their food and throughout the day. The reason why they're consuming a lot of water is because kibble, folks, that stuff is highly processed. It goes through a ton of heat and it's full of carbs. Thus, it makes your dogs very hungry, very hungry. And so let me go ahead and get this off of me real quick. And so here's what I'm about to do, folks, right? I'm about to portion out and weigh their meals. This is 4 pounds. I got 5 bowls. And so each dog is going to receive about 80 ounces each. So let me turn that back off so I can zero it out. And there we go. 6 and 80. All right, cool. That's fine. 85. That's fine. And so these guys are young pups. Young pups, folks, they need to eat. They need to eat because they need the nutrition and they need to grow. And so you need to make sure that you're feeding these guys. Cool, 86. And so with growing puppies, folks, again, you want to make sure that they're eating, consuming the proper nutrients that's going to help for growing. And especially for large breed dogs, you want to make sure that you feed them a good amount for joint health and stuff. That's 8. You know what? Let me just give a little bit more. Okay. You may hear my big dogs. Let me get that off outside. So right now, folks, right, I'm just gauging it. Though I weighed it, I just gauged it. And so, folks, here's one thing I say, right? Do not do as I do. Don't weigh your dogs. We have a raw dog feeding calculator on our website. You can actually use that to determine how much to feed your dogs. And so, all right, cool. We got their food going. And so here's what I'm going to do, right? I have some omega joints as well, right? We came out with this product right here as a alternative to using joint supplements, right? Granted, you could get the proper nutrients and vitamins that you need, right, in our raw dog blends, right? And so, granted, when people go to Petco or PetSmart, they're looking for multivitamins and stuff, right? You got multivitamins that are covering coat health, joint health, organ health, and inflammation health, reducing inflammation and stuff. And so we don't put synthetic supplements in our foods, folks. And so when we came out with this, it was to give you that alternative. And so our omega joints, right? Again, this covers joint health and mobility, inflammation and control, skin and coat nourishment, and digestive strength. Now, here's the key ingredients you'll find in here, folks. We got beef kidney, beef spleen, beef heart, beef lung, beef bone. We have herring in here, folks, which is fish. We have beef trachea and pancreas, beef pancreas as well. Now, granted, at times, we have our bags we go through. but I actually place our stuff in the airtight container. And so that's what you want to put your freeze dry in, the airtight container. Now I did toss a label on here so that people in my house will know, just because we have a ton of food here, that hey, what is a treat and what is a meal. And so for our products, folks, right, you can actually go to IronDogRaw.com to order your stuff, whether our frozen or freeze dry products. For new people out there who may come across this video and stuff, here's one thing I want to put out there. Our operations, folks, right? Though we're based in the East Coast, so that's where our products are being, you know, from my animals being farmed, being slaughtered, and everything being produced. And that's where everything is shipped as well. Everything is taken care of under one roof. Under one roof. Now, granted, typically we are in the Midwest. We're raising these puppies. And so, again, you can go to IronDogRaw.com. I'm actually just going to take one piece each, and I'm going to just crumble this up into their meal. And here's the reason why I'm only giving one piece. Because you only give this based on your dog's weight. And so for one up to, you know, from 1 to 30 pounds, they only get 1 or 2 per day. The fact that I have large breed adults, for instance, any dog over 60 pounds, they only get 4 to 6 pieces per day. And this bag is, this bag right here for 14 ounces is pretty full. And so this will get anyone maybe about, at a minimum, probably about a month and a half, 2 months, maybe even 2.5 months, depending on the size dog that you have. And so that's that. I'm gonna go ahead and switch my gloves out, and we're gonna go ahead and get these guys. Check this out. So we got the pups over here, and it's time to eat. I'm gonna get my camera person to come over here as well. So we got Drax over there sleeping. And so these jokers are ready to eat. A few days ago, we transitioned them from eating all together to actually eating separately and stuff. So I kind of want to get these guys used to eating by themselves. And so we have their food right here. And so I'm gonna go ahead and place it in here so they can eat. Now granted, folks, they only 5 weeks old. And so there's gonna come a time in a moment where I actually get these guys to sit and stuff. And let me get Drax. He's knocked out. He's like, man, I give up. I'm trying to eat. But yeah, so they only 5 weeks. And so once we get into that 6 week, 7 week time frame, I'm gonna start working on these guys sitting down and stuff like that, seeing, you know, and waiting to eat. Pepper, down, you just ate. And so if you heard someone in the background whine, that's their mama who just ate. And she smelled the food. But yeah, so that's it, folks. So let me try to make this part short. So check this out, folks, right? We put a stop to the whole breeding thing, that we were stopping breeding and stuff. And the reason being was because we wanted to focus on Iron Dog Raw. Now, again, as I stated earlier, folks, right? While we was going on a business trip, our dogs tied and so on and so forth. And so we didn't think we was gonna have any puppies, but hey, it's a blessing. We got puppies here. And so, we had one litter back in 2024. After that litter, I took deposits for future litters and stuff. But that's when Iron Dog Raw, you know, took off and, you know, was doing well. And those deposits that I had for future litter, I actually refunded everybody and gave them their money back. And so these pups right here, folks, right? They're available. They are, except for the Hawk. The Hawk is not available. But Black Widow is available, Nebula is available, Crazy Steve is available, and Drax is available. And so, if you're interested in a Cane Corso puppy, folks, right? Just shoot me a DM. You can go to Instagram. My Instagram page, I will place a link to my Instagram page in the description box below. Just shoot me a DM. I get you started with an application process, and we will go from there. And that's where I can give you more details about pricing and what the dogs come with, so on and so forth. Well, other than that, folks, we are out. We got the pups eating. And I'll holler at y'all guys later. Other than that, folks, I'm out. Peace.